54-year-old Larry Fitzgerald Williams is behind bars accused of fatally shooting 51-year-old Brian Lewis. At 1:44 p.m. on Saturday the 21st of June, authorities responded to a report of a shooting along the 1900 block of Delaware Street in Beaumont, Texas. When officers arrived, they found Brian Lewis unresponsive on his lawn with a gunshot wound. Paramedics pronounced him dead at the scene. A neighbour reported that Brian was mowing his yard when a heavy-set black male on a motorcycle pulled up, shot him, and fled west along Delaware Street. After speaking to multiple witnesses and reviewing surveillance footage, authorities were able to determine that the suspect wore a dark-coloured helmet, light-coloured pants and blue gloves, and identified the suspect as Larry Williams. Authorities said the shooting was not random, alleging that Larry targeted Brian because he was cooperating in a criminal case against him. Larry was previously charged with aggravated assault for a 2024 attack on Brian, where he allegedly beat him with brass knuckles, leaving Brian in intensive care for a month with head and skull injuries. The trial for that case was set for July 2025. Authorities claim Larry made repeated threats, demanding Brian drop the charges or he will kill him, but Brian refused. At around 6:45 a.m. on Monday the 23rd of June, police located Larry in Jefferson County and arrested him. He is charged with first-degree murder and remains held at the Jefferson County Jail on a $10 million bond. A 35-year-old woman is behind bars after she allegedly stabbed a man. On the night of Monday the 23rd of June, authorities responded to the area of Noland Avenue and South 8th Street on reports of a stabbing. When officers arrived, they found a man suffering from a stab wound that he reportedly received during a domestic dispute. The man has since been hospitalized due to serious bodily injury. Authorities said that the suspect, 35-year-old Nicole Parks, allegedly took off before police arrived, leading officers on a brief foot chase. She was later arrested and booked into the Hameister County Jail on charges of first-degree assault, felony menacing, obstruction of a police officer, and domestic violence. A 33-year-old man is behind bars accused of fatally beating his 65-year-old mother. On Sunday the 22nd of June, authorities responded to a residence at 936 Park Circle in Opelousas, Louisiana, after neighbours reported a foul smell coming from the property. When officers arrived, they discovered human remains inside a trash can under the carport of the home. Investigators identified 33-year-old Aaron Lloyd of Opelousas as a suspect and located him at a residence in Crotch Springs. During an interview, Aaron reportedly confessed to injecting his mother, 65-year-old Lisa Lloyd, with methamphetamine and then beating her to death. Aaron was booked into the St. Landry Parish Jail on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated second-degree battery, obstruction of justice, failure to seek assistance, and distribution of Schedule II drugs. A 44-year-old man is behind bars accused of fatally beating his 36-year-old ex-girlfriend. On Wednesday the 18th of June, authorities responded to a medical call in Kellogg, Minnesota. A 911 caller reported a woman, 36-year-old Melissa Hunt, drove into the reporting party's driveway and had significant injuries to her face. She was missing multiple teeth and a portion of her jaw. When first responders arrived, Melissa told officials her ex-boyfriend, 44-year-old Craig Allen Hameister, struck her with a stick near a boat launch in Kellogg, and she described his vehicle. She was transported to a local hospital, where she died from her injuries. Authorities located Craig's truck near a home in Olmsted County, as well as a 9mm round on the floor. The residents reportedly told police Craig arrived in a very frantic state, and he said something bad happened. He allegedly told an occupant in the home that police would be coming before he fled on a motorcycle. The resident said she noticed her 9mm handgun was missing. Officers found Craig nearby after he climbed up a tree to avoid arrest, but officials took him into custody following an hours-long standoff. Craig remains held at the Wabasha County Jail on a second-degree murder charge, with bond set at $2 million. A 38-year-old man is behind bars for fatally shooting his 39-year-old ex-wife. At around 9:40 p.m. on Wednesday the 18th of June, authorities responded to the Desert Ridge Marketplace shopping mall in Phoenix, Arizona on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, They found a woman later identified as 39-year-old Jessica Shukers laying in the parking lot next to a pickup truck outside the AMC movie theatre with multiple gunshot wounds. Police located a shotgun and a revolver near her body. She was unable to be saved and was pronounced dead at the scene. Witnesses told detectives that they saw a bald man sitting next to the door of the pickup truck before he shot the woman. That witness said he heard more gunshots after she was already on the ground. Police located the suspect, 38-year-old Justin Allen Creed, standing nearby, shirtless and stripped down to his underwear, and he immediately surrendered to officers. Authorities said that he had taken off his clothes so that police could see he was unarmed, stating that he was sorry for any trauma he may have caused. When detectives interviewed Justin, he refused to answer any questions about the shooting, but did say it involved his ex-wife, who was the mother of one of his children, and that he was retaliating for alleged past child abuse and infidelity. Authorities said that a woman who shares a child with Justin told officers he warned her about 3 months ago that he would not be coming home and that he would end up in jail. Another family member also cited increasingly odd and troubling behaviour, believed to be caused by a mental health condition. Justin was booked into the Maricopa County Jail on a first-degree murder charge, and he remains held on a $1 million bond. His next court appearance is on the 27th of June. 47-year-old Ronald Speights is behind bars for allegedly killing his girlfriend, 46-year-old Browan Williams, by deliberately driving into her. At 7:46 a.m. on Friday the 20th of June, authorities responded to a residence in the 1200 block of Corley Avenue in Beaumont, Texas on reports of a domestic disturbance. When officers arrived on scene, the premises was unoccupied. Through the course of the investigation, officers learnt that an argument had occurred between Ronald and Browan, which escalated and Ronald struck her with his vehicle. He then drove her to the Baptist Hospital, where she was later pronounced dead. Ronald was detained at the hospital, and following an interview with detectives, he was transported to the Jefferson County Jail and charged with murder. The investigation is ongoing. 38-year-old Jeremy Fancher and 21-year-old Destiny Campos are behind bars in connection to the suffocation death of their 4-month-old daughter Brooklyn Fancher. At around 1 p.m. on the 26th of May 2024, sheriff deputies and paramedics responded to a report at the Days Inn and Suites Motel, located at 7111 Rancho Mission Drive in Houston, Texas, where Brooklyn was found unresponsive in a dresser drawer and pronounced dead at the scene. Jeremy and Destiny, residents of the motel for over a year, reportedly placed Brooklyn in the drawer to sleep while using drugs, including methamphetamines found in the room. Sheriff deputies and paramedics stated that Destiny admitted Jeremy sealed the drawer with a towel to prevent the infant from opening it and to muffle her cries. Jeremy reportedly complained that Brooklyn's cries were disruptive and would feed her a bottle to quieten her. A motel housekeeper reportedly found Brooklyn in the clothes drawer on multiple occasions and observed the couple's 1-year-old son sitting on the floor eating cookie crumbs. When confronted, Destiny allegedly laughed off the housekeeper's concerns. The housekeeper had taken photos of the infant in the drawer and alerted management. The Harris County Medical Examiner's Office determined the cause of death as suffocation. At the time of the incident, Jeremy claimed he was at a store and returned to find the drawer shut. The sheriff deputies and paramedics later reported he admitted to being the last person to place Brooklyn in the drawer with a white hospital blanket. Destiny said she was asleep and assumed Brooklyn was with Jeremy. On Friday the 20th of June 2025, Destiny, who's 7 months pregnant, was arrested and booked into the Harris County Jail with bond set at $300,000. The following day, Jeremy was arrested and booked into the Tom Green County Jail with bond set at $850,000. Both face murder charges in connection to Brooklyn's death. Marilyn Jennifer Mork, Jeremy's current girlfriend, was also arrested and charged with hindering apprehension. Luann Simon, Brooklyn's maternal great-grandmother, stated that sheriff deputies and paramedics found methamphetamines in the motel and alleged that Jeremy and Destiny had previously placed Brooklyn in the drawer for alone time. Luann further claimed that Destiny referred to her current pregnancy, saying, "I'm gonna have a girl that replaces the one I lost." Luann expressed relief at the arrests, but criticised the delay in holding Jeremy and Destiny accountable. 34-year-old Jarrod Mitchell is behind bars accused of fatally shooting his mother, 55-year-old Monica Jennings, his stepfather, 63-year-old Michael Jennings, and his sister, 32-year-old Kayla Mitchell. At around 7:30 a.m. on Sunday the 22nd of June, authorities responded to a distress call from Kayla's husband, at a residence at 6336 Lena Drive in Bryant, Arkansas. He reported finding his wife and in-laws shot to death after returning home from an overnight shift. Police arrived to find the 3 victims deceased from gunshot wounds. 3 children, unharmed but traumatized, were present in the home at the time of the killings. Investigators found no sign of forced entry or evidence of a home invasion, suggesting the act was not random. Authorities identified Jarrod Mitchell as a suspect. Approximately 8 hours later at 3:30 p.m, police located Jarrod in his truck on nearby Amber Lane and arrested him. Investigators believe that Jarrod's child was among the children present during the murders. Sergeant Todd Krausen of the Bryant Police Department stated, "Kayla and her husband were living with Michael and Monica at the residence. Jarrod did not live there but visited frequently." He added that the motive for the shooting remains unclear. Jarrod was booked into the Saline County Detention Center on 3 counts of first-degree murder. On Monday the 23rd of June, he appeared in the Saline County Court where a judge set his bond at $2 million. His next court date is scheduled for the 5th of August 2025. Jarrod has a history of violence. He was committed against his will in 2017 while living with his grandparents, who expressed concern over his substance abuse and alleged threats made against his family. A petition filed on the 18th of June 2017 detailed Jarrod's alleged threats towards his mother, her husband and his sister, noting he had knives laid out on the bed and on his person, and had punched holes in the wall. At that time, a judge ordered Jarrod to a detox facility for up to 21 days, citing evidence of addiction and homicidal tendencies. A 34-year-old Bristow, Oklahoma man will spend the rest of his life behind bars for killing his 5-year-old daughter and setting her on fire in 2020 because he believes she was controlled by witchcraft. On the 20th of June 2025, U.S. District Judge John Russell sentenced Adam Raymond Mason to life in prison for second-degree murder in Native American territory. On the 26th of August 2020, Creek County Sheriff deputies were dispatched to check on the well-being of a 5-year-old child. The mother of the child told law enforcement that their daughter was staying the night with her father Adam, and that he would not let her speak with the child. Upon arrival, deputies located the burnt body of a child, which they believed to be the 5-year-old. Deputies found Adam hiding in the woods nearby and took him into custody. Adam told law enforcement that he believed his daughter was controlled by witchcraft. He said he punched the child in the head multiple times and took her to a nearby creek where he placed a tire on top of her, set her on fire and fled the scene. Adam is a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation and will remain in custody pending transfer to the U.S. Bureau of Prisons. A couple has been arrested for allegedly locking their adopted son in a room and confining him for a decade. On the 11th of June 2025, authorities responded to a home along the 12200 block of Tierra Mar Way in El Paso, Texas in reference to allegations that a 15-year-old boy was being neglected and confined by his adoptive parents, 51-year-old Richard Ramirez and 52-year-old Nora Ramirez. Richard and Nora allegedly locked the teen in his bedroom for extended periods of time and forced him to use the bathroom within his room. The victim reportedly told police his adoptive parents only let him out for dinner, and then he would immediately have to go back to his room. Richard and Nora allegedly subjected their son to this pattern of treatment since he was around 5 years old. Richard reportedly worked with the El Paso County Sheriff's Office, but recently submitted his resignation. On Friday the 13th of June, Richard and Nora were arrested and charged with unlawful restraint, and were booked into the El Paso County Detention Facility with bond set at $100,000. The following day, they both posted bond and were released from jail. A 42-year-old woman is behind bars after she allegedly shot her 16-year-old son during a domestic dispute. At around 9 p.m. on Sunday the 22nd of June, authorities responded to an apartment complex near Dobson Road and Southern Avenue, Mesa, Arizona on reports of a shooting. When officers arrived on scene, witnesses told police that a teen boy had been shot in the neck and he was put into a black car that left the scene. Officers followed the car to the emergency room and began speaking to those involved. Upon further investigation, authorities said that 42-year-old Shamonica Cannon had arrived at her estranged husband's apartment along with her 15-year-old son. As they walked up to the door, the 15-year-old told police he noticed his mother was holding a gun. The boy attempted to grab the gun from her because he was scared of what she could do. That's when the 16-year-old went outside to help his brother and was shot in the neck while trying to grab the gun from his mother. Authorities said that Shamonica was pushed back into a neighbour's door, and that's when the gun went off. Family members tried to help the teen before they loaded him into the car and took him to the hospital. He's currently conscious and alert. While speaking with police, Shamonica reportedly admitted it was her gun and that it was an accident. She was arrested and charged with aggravated assault, disorderly conduct, discharging a firearm in city limits, and endangerment charges. She remains held at the Maricopa County Jail on a $150,000 bond.